Arabia.
Right.
And what was the third issue?
He wanted the price of oil to go to $100 a barrel.
Was that what it was?
It was in '98. Yeah,
All right.
that we
What
were
did he
supporting.
get? Bush immediately, not immediately, but Bush got our military is no longer in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, they got
So it had to go somewhere. Where do we put it? Oh, let's bring freedom to the Iraqi people. That's where our military is now.
No, I mean,
Mike, let me ask you something, Mike. Mike, how do you feel about the Jewish people? Do they have a right to a homeland?
How do you feel about the Catholic people?
But this is the core of the whole thing.
No,
it is.
no,
it is the core of the whole thing.
Absolutely not.
When you have the Jewish faith that is being threatened with extinction by a bunch of radical countries around them, the United States is going to come to their aid. That's what's going to happen. Well, look, Clinton did it. Bill Clinton Bill Clinton aligned himself with Israel, and the United States is going to align itself with Israel. Now, we have also tried, the Democratic Party has tried to negotiate a settlement between the Israelis and the Arabs. In fact, there's no country on the face of the earth that has tried to bring those two sides together. We put a tremendous amount of resource into it. You're exactly right. This has got a great history to it, and there's no doubt that you've got to put it in historical perspective. America has committed its sins. But looking at where we are right now and moving forward, that doesn't eliminate the threat. And getting out of Iraq does not eliminate the threat, and that's what we as Americans have got to come to grips with.
Look,
Well,
these
wait
things.
a minute, but I think that you people are really liquored
No,
up
I'm
at
not
this
a
point, aren't you?
neocon. I'm an American.
You-
And I didn't come here to get heckled like that. I'm an American. I pay my taxes. I speak my piece. I give you an open microphone. And I don't believe in the extinction of the Jewish people.
I'm going to be the second liberal on the stage tonight to say I agree with Pat Buchanan, which is terrifying, I know. But he said the same thing, Mike, that you said, that they don't hate us for our freedom. They hate us for our policies. And,
Well, he wrote an entire book about it, in fact.
yeah, exactly. You know,
Which is actually a
Osama
very
bin
good
Laden,
book.
yeah, Osama bin Laden is not sitting in his cave going, ooh, with the Bill of Rights, oh, this makes me so mad, you know. I hate that Lexus commercial where the chick gets to drive, ooh. You know, but, you know, I think you raised a point about Clinton, Ed, is I think that at least we were honest brokers then in Israel. Do you know what I mean? I think what's happened, I've said this, I have good friends that live in Israel, and Bush is the worst friend they've ever had because he's not an honest broker.
Well, there's something that connects all of this, okay? And in fact, there is common ground in all that we're discussing here. And these things are not mutually exclusive. So yes, we definitely screwed up Iran when we deposed their democratically elected leader. There's no question about that. And when we point that out, it's not because, as some neocons say, because you hate America. No, it's because we love America and we want America to do better. And that gets us into more trouble when we do things that are against our interests. And it's not in our interest to depose the democratically elected people of Iran or the Central America or wherever it might be. Now, the thing is, Ed is of course right. There are Islamic extremists, but there are extremists of all the religions. Okay, Except Buddhism.
I don't disagree with that.
Seriously. And that's the real enemy. Okay, it's not. We don't have a war on terror. We have a war on fundamentalism. We should. Okay.
Well,
that's the real ideological war.
The last Democratic candidate, John Kerry, called for, before the election, a regional diplomatic effort.
Right.
This president, this administration said we're not going to do that. We're not going to talk to the Syrians. We're not going to talk to the Iranians. That was his policy. So the American people, unfortunately, chose the wrong way. The next Democratic president will embrace a regional policy, which will give us an opportunity for more security and to get more people involved, so we don't butcher one another.
And Jack, I'll let you. And remember that when you go into an argument, and I understand it, and I'm sympathetic when you talk about all the Republicans and the Democrats, they're essentially the same. It is on critical issues like that where they are diametrically different. And why it is so critical that we get a Democrat back in the White House. That we can't afford to go another 4 years, or God forbid, another 8 years. Well, we don't talk to Syria and Iran. where we don't become, as Stephanie said, an honest broker with the Palestinian-Israeli issue. And there's only one party, strikes me right now, that's in any position to embrace something like that. Go ahead.
Now, the problem is, in the war on fundamentalism, our administration's on the wrong side. Okay? So, we talk here about the Israeli-Palestinian situation, and you say Israel needs to exist, and you say the Palestinians need to exist. Yes, we agree. The problem is we all agree they need to exist. The people who don't agree are the fundamentalists, whether they're the Jewish fundamentalists who are the settlers in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, whether they're the Muslim fundamentalists that run Hamas, whether they're the Christian fundamentalists that run this country. The problem is the people who don't want peace, the people who want war are the ones that are in charge. So we need to get them the hell out and bring in people who are interested in peace.
And that issue of fundamentalist violence is one that's a frame that just isn't discussed in the United States. I mean, the second largest terrorist attack in recent history was by Tim McVeigh, it was an act of Christian terrorism. I mean, and then the bombings. I was living in Atlanta when the Olympics were bombed, and I believe it was a gay bar was bombed, and it was again Christian terrorists. So there's the point I was making earlier. I think Buddhism is the only religion, Mike, to correct your point, in the name of which a war has never been fought.
I've met some really extreme chanters. I disagree with that. Some people go nuts with that Hamno Ringeke stuff.
That actually works, by the way. If you're hitchhiking and you can't get away, you start chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. I'll tell you, I hitchhiked all the way across the country that way once. Anyway, we have about 5 minutes left. I just want to wrap this up by talking about strategy. Where do we go from here? And in fact, let's just 5-6 minutes. If each one of us just takes 2 minutes and let's just summarize this. I think that's probably the best thing to do here in this, and we'll just run down the row. We'll start with you, Cenk. We got the whole evening, actually. You can talk to anything you want. Just not more than 2 minutes, please.
Right. As a general issue, we say perfect presidents or perfect politicians. The problem is we're electing people on the wrong basis. We elect them on who's going to run the best candidacy, but that isn't the job. The job is who's going to be the best president. Right? And unfortunately, we are electing a lot of actors, Ronald Reagan, and now they want Fred Thompson, etc. People who are good at acting like they're going to be president and who are good at, campaign commercials and sound bites. But that isn't the job. The job is to be president, and that's a hard job. And that's who we should be electing. That's what we should be using as a basis. So I hope we begin to go in that direction.
Thank you.
If Cenk is... If Cenk is right that we're electing presidents on the basis of sound bites, then we made a very puzzling choice, didn't we? Man. I'd like to answer Ed's question, if I could. How do I feel about the Jewish people? I love them. Just for the record. I think that, just touch on something that I said before. Well, two things I said before. One, about authenticity. I think what a lot of people, and I like Hillary, and I agree with Ed when he talks about, I think we have an incredibly strong field, a really strong field, and I'm satisfied with every single one of them. I think the fear that some of us get with Hillary Clinton is we see Al Gore in 2000, not the Al Gore who we want now, but the 2000 Al Gore that drove us crazy. And we see John Kerry in 2004 who went, I thought Al Gore ran a really good campaign. I think I'll do it again. And we see in Hillary that sort of careful, measured approach that drives us nuts. So, I think, but we all know that if Hillary Clinton is president of the United States, we're fine, I think. Anyway, I don't think there's any question about that. So I pray that we start seeing some of that authenticity that will make voters connect more. And that we remember, no matter how different we are here, and no matter how many people are angry, and I sense most of it is toward Hillary, that we recognize that we have I'm going to sound like a politician myself, but we really do, especially in this room, have far more in common than we have what's different. And we cannot afford to splinter and allow somebody like Rudy Giuliani or Mitt Romney or John McCain or, God forbid, Newt Gingrich to be the next president of the United States.
Thank you, Ben. Mike Malloy.